Hey YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Mike's Mini Motors. So in this episode we're working on the Ruckus again, and what I'm going to be installing is this guy right here. This is a Yamaha R1 motorcycle rear fender, and I'm going to mount it right about like that. And we're going to be mounting it with this guy. This is the mounting bracket from the Ruck Shop. And normally it's all stainless steel, but I painted it flat black just to match the bike. But I originally purchased this like a few months ago when I was about to go to the Ferry to Ferry cruise. And so I normally would have made this bracket myself because there's not a whole lot to it. But since the Ferry to Ferry cruise was coming up, I didn't have time. I ordered it. And then this fender actually took up until just last week to get. And so, yeah. But anyways, I'll go ahead and I'll grab the camera and I'll get a little closer up over here so you guys can see exactly how this installs or gets installed. It should be really pretty simple, so let's just jump right into it. Okay, so the first step to mounting this new fender is this upper mounting bolt for my exhaust hanger needs to come out. And then this bracket actually mounts on the back side of the engine mount there. But one thing is the Ruck Shop sends this bolt with it, which the threads only go to here. So what they tell you to do is drill the threads out of the engine itself. And I didn't really want to do that, so I went to the hardware store and I did find a bolt that's threaded all the way. It's an M8 by 1.25 thread, and then the total length is 90 millimeters. So if you can find that, then you don't have to drill your engine out. But the difference is this has the socket cap for like an Allen wrench, and this is just a hex head. But it's just kind of hidden back here, so it shouldn't stand out too much. So first thing I need to do is get this bolt out. So let's get that out of there. All right, so now with that bolt out, just take this guy and I'll thread it back in. And then I will go ahead and just cinch her all the way down because it's gonna tighten down against the hanger and then stick out on this side of the engine, so that's where this will go on. All right, so you can see here how much of that bolt I have sticking out so that I can put the bracket on there. But on this bracket, if you look, it's kind of a T shape. And on the bottom here, this side here is what goes up against the engine. Because if you look here on the nuts that are welded on the top, they're sitting at an angle. So if you put it on the other way, like that, then your fender sits way up and the bracket hits the tire before the fender's looking good. So make sure you put it on the correct way. So I will go ahead and get this thing bolted up. I'm not gonna completely snug it down because then that way I can still adjust the angle a little bit just to see where it looks with the fender. And then we can tighten it down. Alright, so as you can see, bracket's mounted. I still have it loose, so like I said, I can adjust the angle here. So now, I just need to bolt the fender on, position it, tighten her down, and we're done. Alright, so we got the fender on there now, and now like I said, it's just adjusting it to where about I want it to sit. You can go way high like that if you want it to look goofy. You have it really low if you want it right up in your tire, but I'm gonna have it just slightly off the tire. And I'll probably just put something in here as a spacer, about like my finger width. And then I will tighten that other nut down, and so this won't move. All right, and there's that fender installed. I did end up raising it up just a little bit more than my finger length here, just because, I don't know if you guys can see it right here, it actually indents a bit more. And so it was actually getting closer to the tire than this section was. So I raised it just a little bit. Alright, so the fender's installed. It was a really easy install. There's a total of 3 bolts. There's the one that holds the bracket to the engine, and then the 2 that hold the fender to the bracket. Really simple. Got decent clearances around there, and I do like that, you know, if I wanted to adjust the angle of the fender, I could a little bit. But in hindsight, like if I were to do this again, I would not buy this bracket, just because it's, I think, pretty pricey for what you get. Don't get me wrong though, like the quality's good. It's a stainless steel bracket, so it's not gonna rust or anything like that. But I could have just made it myself way cheaper. But at the time, I paid for the convenience because I was supposed to have this here before the Ferry to Ferry cruise, but that didn't end up happening, so. But anyways, it's in there. It should help keep some water and mud off my back if I end up having to hit any puddles or anything like that. But yeah, and luckily, since it's just a flat black plastic, it already goes with the bike, so I don't have to paint it. So that's always a bonus. But if you are looking to do this, like I said, the Yamaha discontinued making these fenders. And when they were making them, you could pick them up for about 10 bucks before shipping. But now, pretty much anywhere I'm finding is you can buy a used one for $40 to $50 or $60 for a new one. So they have gone up in price because Yamaha stopped making them, and they might continue to go up in price. So if you're looking to do this, I would say jump on it as soon as possible and see if you can still find some of that new stock for the 10, 12 bucks, depending on where you buy it from. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead and like the video if you like what I'm doing. Leave me a comment and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And with that, see you guys later.